Hello and welcome to Top Hat Chat live with me, Street and Orb. Today on the channel we are up to episode 20 of the Great Gaming Debate, where tonight we are going to be discussing whether the PSP was indeed better than the Nintendo DS. So the PSP obviously was considerably better, even if you just look at it from a graphical perspective. The graphics of the PSP were far, far better than the Nintendo could even imagine at this time. So therefore it was better.
So graphics is the sole thing you're basing your whole argument on?
For now, yes.
Interesting. Well, some people prefer maybe the more kitsch, kind of cutesy look and cartoonish feel.
The laziness and the poor hardware, yeah?
No, I'd say that is... I feel you're being quite disingenuous there towards the DS. Look, okay, right, I'm going to be straight with you. The DS has never been lauded for graphics, and rightly so. But that is Nintendo as a whole. Nintendo have never really done that. I only really like the SNES, which even still was considered to be maybe not so good in the looks department, but I actually kind of preferred most of the SNES games.
The Mega Drive was grittier.
Yeah.
But it's
sure.
quite, yeah.
But other than that, like really, visuals-wise, Nintendo have never tried to compete at the top end. Certainly because not since PlayStation. No, and I don't even know... Well, they can. They've definitely got the money to do it. They've definitely got the business contacts to make better graphics a possibility. But they know they don't have to overspend on that department, on hardware, and use that for other innovations, which is where the DS comes into its own, because it brought... The clue is in the name. It brought you the dual screen.
Which was amazingly helpful to no one.
What are you on about? There were some great games that utilised the dual screen.
We've coped fine with one screen for every console up until that point, and then for almost everyone afterwards, the only one that didn't was a huge flop.
You're such a Luddite.
It's true, though.
You know, you've got your pitchfork and you're like, no, none of these cotton gins are going to put us out of business. None of these yarn spinners.
It's true.
We never needed them, this newfangled technology. Well, the thing is that innovation.
They tried something. They did it again with the 3DS. It's like, okay, fair enough. You just kind of carried on with the same thing. And then they tried it with the Wii U, and it just, nobody cared. Nobody cared, not even this much. Which, it was like, in fact, if anything, it turned people off. They were like, no, this is a stupid gimmick. And I've realised now that this is a stupid gimmick in all of my handhelds as well. Then they brought out the Switch.
Look.
They gave up on dual screens. Because everyone finally realised that it was terrible.
No, that's not why they gave up on dual screens. Like, let's be honest, the DS utilised the dual screen technology really well. So there were a lot of games that we'll get onto in a bit that utilised that feature amazingly better.
Yeah, brain training.
And let's look at how PlayStation deals with it. I know we're not talking about it, but the PlayStation ended up trying to bring in like that touchpad button on the PlayStation 4. And it's useless and no one uses it. And they've not taken it away for the PS5. So Sony are also in themselves quite ridiculous in this whole giving up and sticking at a technology that's no good. But the dual screen was good. It gave so many games useful. Like one of the ones that I'll bring up first that I feel really, showcased what it could do. And it was a silly little game, but it was so fun. I put so many hours into it.
Is it that stupid Zelda game?
No.
One of the puzzles that comes up, it says that you have to touch something to something else. And it doesn't give you any indication of what you have to do. And the whole idea of it was you had to close it. Most people found out that you had to close the DS to solve this puzzle because they got so frustrated at it that they just closed it out of frustration, picked it up later and realised they'd solved it by actually giving up and hating it.
Look, stop being ridiculous. No, it wasn't that one.
Oh, okay.
And I admit that I didn't really like that either. But
what game was it?
WarioWare.
No, it was a Zelda game.
Oh, was it one? It's not one of the Spirit Tracks or the one, was it? Or the Wind Waker one that kind of did that either.
It was stupid.
Spirit Sail or
I'm talking about dual screen stuff where you have to close it to win. Like you have to give up to win. Brilliant.
Really? That's so amazing.
Carry on.
Right.
Point.
You throw me because it's not a good point.
Okay, carry on.
WarioWare.
Okay, WarioWare, yeah. Are we talking about games now?
No, I'm just saying, that showcased what the dual screen was really all about and how much fun you could have with that. Mm-hmm. WarioWare, which was a launch title, by the way, for that handheld, was one of the best, and it was so much fun to play. I put so many hours into it.
That's true. I mean, everyone loves games that you can play for 4 seconds at a time.
Oh, 4 seconds at a time, that's ridiculous.
But it's exactly what the game was designed to do.
No, it was great.
Oh, have a go.
Look, you're just being silly.
Oh, I'm getting into this one.
Right, but some games did utilise the controls well.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And that's what I mean.
Brain training. I will give you brain training. Brain training was a fantastic
game.
Kawashima,
you know what I mean? That was some good stuff.
Yeah.
That utilised that. And yeah, some of it felt tacked on. I will give you that, because there's the Mario Party 64, which is like DS. They kept 64 on it. It was like they've added, they added 64 to. Well,
again, they hadn't updated the graphics up from the 64 to that point.
No,
it was yeah.
Yes. I will concede that they're very similar, but Mario 64 DS.
Yeah.
Is a good game, and it's the best version of Mario 64.
Yeah, but it's not hard to beat once you go back, is it?
And they did have tacked on motion, like the tacked on thumb control. But I did use it for a bit where you could just drag, and it kept running in that direction, and it did kind of work.
And the best version of Mario 64 is actually Odyssey, so...
yeah. Stop trying to be Top Hat.
It's true, though. It's completely true. Some of his stuff is definitely true. Some of what he says is definitely true, and that is one of the things that I agree with.
What's your controls like then? Because I was
talking about controls.
Yeah. Because you've just been ragging on the dual screen, and that kind of comes under controls.
They had a PlayStation controller. The PlayStation controller at the time was an amazing controller with its, with its cross button and everything else, like amazing.
Yeah. So it had PlayStation face buttons. It had one of the most uncomfortable D-pads I've ever seen, and the discs that replaced analog sticks were horrendous.
At least it had analog sticks.
Horrendous.
At least it had them.
Didn't need them. I'd rather not have them.
They were useful at times.
No, I don't. No, they weren't. I just didn't like them at all.
What were your analog sticks like?
Well, I didn't have any. I had a nice, comfortable D-pad, and I had a touch screen.
So, when the PlayStation first came out, the original PlayStation, okay, it had those controllers, the really basic controllers, the one that came with a PlayStation Classic, which was definitely worth £95. It came out with that, and everyone was like, well, this is okay, but it feels like it needs more. And then they brought out the DualShock, and everyone was like, analog sticks, brilliant. But then yours didn't have analog sticks, and mine did.
They weren't analog sticks. They're not analog sticks.
They're as close as anybody needs to get on something that's supposed to fit in your pocket.
They're horrendous discs, and they're rubbish. And that's right. That's another thing. Let's talk about fitting in the pocket. The DS fits into a pocket easier than a...
Not the original DS.
Yeah.
I will 100% say yes. The DS Lite was...
Where was the PlayStation Portable Lite?
There was a PSP Go.
What a lame name.
It was great. It took away physical media, but it was great.
Oh, so one of the things that you constantly champion on this channel, you constantly say, physical media, that's where it's at, bro. No, we're not leaving that behind. And then you're like, yeah, check out this really cool PSP that didn't use physical media.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first console that I'm aware of that took away physical media, but it's fine because they realised their mistake and changed it for the Vita, which came out, which was fine. Yeah. Can we talk about games?
No.
We can talk about games.
No. Right. Yeah. Actually, do you know what? Fine. We will talk about games because this is
brilliant.
This is a slam dunk.
Okay. So the PSP had some amazing games. It had Final Fantasy VII on it as an exclusive.
It wasn't Final Fantasy VII. It was Crisis Core, right? The prequel.
It's indifferent. Same thing.
It was a decent prequel. Don't get me wrong.
It's Final Fantasy VII. Everyone loves Final Fantasy VII apart from Tiger Magazine.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone loves Tiger Magazine.
So everyone with a brain likes Final Fantasy VII.
Ouch.
And it had Final Fantasy VII, so you can't be mad at that.
The prequel.
Still had it. God of War. Had a God of War game. Very good.
Was it a good God of War game?
It was fine. There was no
fine.
issue. Yeah, it's fine.
Fine isn't good.
Fine is fine.
Right. What else? Come on.
It had Bomberman. It had a game that you love, Championship Manager.
That was an awful version of Championship Manager.
Still had it. I don't see Championship Manager DS.
Let me just throw out a couple, okay? Just so we can really get on top. And I'm going to lead off with a heavy hitter.
Go.
Pokemon.
Oh, God.
Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, and Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. That's all I need to say. One collection of games beats anything on the PSP.
Grand Theft Auto.
I don't get right. I love that Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, Liberty
by the
City
way.
Stories.
Liberty City Stories. I loved it, but I never played it on PSP. I played it on PS2 when it came out on PS2.
Still amazing.
It's all right. You can definitely tell it was a mobile, like a handheld game when you were playing it on the PlayStation. But that game...
But on a handheld, that's what you expect.
No, but I don't want
version.
it on the handheld because those games I want a nice big screen to be able to enjoy the carnage and chaos. I don't want them sitting there like this.
Crazy Taxi.
I love Crazy Taxi, but it was available on 100 other things.
Metal Gear. You have Metal Gear Acid on there?
Yeah, Metal Gear Acid was cool, but it was a weird card game.
Still fine.
It was weird.
Still had Metal Gear.
It did have a Metal Gear. All right.
Gran Turismo.
Was an awful version of Gran Turismo. Not a very good one at all. Right? No. Just no. Pokemon. Said that. Animal Bleeding Crossing.
Yeah, it did have Animal Crossing.
WarioWare. I've already brought that up.
Yeah, it did have WarioWare.
Nintendogs. I'm not saying it's a good game, but that sold like gangbusters. People loved it. It was the reinvention of the Tamagotchi.
That is true. We do know that if something sells well, it's automatically the best.
Well, you were going for the whole graphics make the best games console argument earlier, and it's exactly in the same camp as that.
Yeah, I mean, you had some good games, but then you also had Mega Man, Star Force.
Look, just because you don't like slightly difficult games, that's why you don't like Mega Mans and stuff. And whilst you were banging on about GTA, by the way, the DS had Chinatown Wars, which is the best handheld GTA. People loved Chinatown
Wars was good. Yeah, I do like
I
Chinatown
preferred,
Wars.
Personally, I have to admit it, I preferred Liberty City Stories, but I'm a sucker for that GTA, it was very much in the same realm as GTA 3.
Annoyingly, I preferred Chinatown Wars. Do you want to swap?
No, because the DS is better and you're not getting out of it and you're not getting another win. This is my win. I win.
Okay. You had Point Blank.
Point Blank's fantastic.
On a DS?
I didn't play it much on a DS, I have to be honest. I didn't. But it's another, as you said earlier, but it's a Point Blank game, just like you were saying. It was, but it's a Metal Gear game.
Yeah, I mean, you had some other good titles on the PSP. You had Resistance. You had a Resistance game on there. Motorstorm was very good, actually.
Yeah, Motorstorm was pretty okay.
Motorstorm was good.
Motorstorm was pretty okay. But what about, we had Final Fantasy Tactics A2.
Well, PSP had Final Fantasy Tactics, which is the better one.
Yeah, but we got new content. And content is, and that's what I want.
It's not, though. Good content is
and it was good content. Stop ragging on it. What about Ni no Kuni? Towards the end of its lifespan.
There was a Ni no Kuni game.
Right towards the end of its lifespan.
Yeah, was it very good? I never played it.
Never played it.
You have to be honest.
But no, I've never played it, so I can't be honest and tell you it's good.
But it had Ni no Kuni.
But it clearly was the building block for, it come out around the same time as Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. And if it's even a tenth of that game, then it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Because Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch is fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah, you have Ardamore is in chat at the moment, says New Super Mario Brothers was superb. And when it came out, it was.
New Super Mario Brothers is fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really good game. I played a hell of a lot of that. Yeah. Pilot Wings on the DS is really good. I played a lot of that as well. Yeah. Someone's just reminded me in chat, we had Final Fantasies 1 to 6 on DS.
Yeah, you see, we're gonna move on to that very, very quick. I do want to point this out. Dragon Quest 9 as well was pointed out by Ardamore, so I mean that's something to talk about. But we do have to talk about the fact that Final Fantasy 1 to 6 was also available on the PSP.
In what way?
In the fact that as soon as you possibly could, it was hacked buggery, and then you can now play a ridiculous amount. It turns into a amazing retro emulation machine.
No.
Which is, it's I'm going to be honest, because I have to be honest at this point, and there's no point in flogging a dead horse, is the only reason to own a PSP today, and probably when it came out, was the fact that now you can hack it to buggery and turn it into a retro emulation machine that is possibly the best pocket retro emulation machine you can possibly buy. That's amazing.
Look, I do remember being insanely jealous around the sort of 2005-06 era. So that was about a year or two after the PSP had come out, and people were really starting to ramp up the whole emulation of SNES and stuff and Mega Drive on their consoles. And I was actually, when we were both at where I was at sixth form at the time, and a friend of mine said about having, oh, check this out, I can play Mario. And I was like, what do you mean? You haven't got a DS? And then that's all you didn't need. And then he was like, no, we're emulating on this shit now. And I was like, what? That's so cool. You had a whole libraries of SNES and NES and Mega Drive Master System. And I have to admit, I was incredibly jealous.
Yeah, I mean, that is the only reason really to have one now. And I think that if you were to compare them now, which is what we are doing, then you have to say that the PSP is better.
Yeah, right, I admit, that is a big win for the PSP. It is a big win for the PSP. But that is outside of its original intention. Like Sony didn't put it out for you to end up cracking it and put emulators on it.
That's true.
They didn't try to. That wasn't intentional on their part. And if that's the best thing that your console has going for it, then probably it's not that good as a console of itself. When there was that many good games.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of agree. I mean, we do have to kind of come to some sort of conclusion here.
Well, I'll be honest. There is only one conclusion for this. And it's Nintendo DS. The Pokemon games are, up to that point, were the best Pokemon games ever. And in my opinion, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are still probably the best Pokemon games ever made.
Yeah.
And that's because of the Nintendo DS. It also brought you so many other great classic titles. It was an iconic system.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to deny that there are some games on PSP that I absolutely adore. Mm-hmm. We didn't even mention things like Patapon. We didn't mention things like what was Loco Roco. Mm-hmm. Like, they were fantastic games, but I have so many warm memories of what do you call it, Metroid.
Yeah.
I have so many fond memories of, like I said, WarioWare, Mario 64, New Super Mario Brothers. Oh my word, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously amazing. And I can't see past the PSP. I mean, I can't see past the DS.
Do you know what? I'm actually going to concede and say that at the time, 100% the DS was the better console. Mm-hmm. You have made your argument well, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really hard to argue against it because at the time it had the better library by a considerable amount. Yeah, it's... Apart from graphics, maybe 3 or 4 games, and the fact that it could be turned into a retro emulation machine, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, that can make that any better.
No, like I said,
There's nothing.
I'll concede that the emulation is fantastic.
Yeah.
And even PlayStation games are being emulated on there, and it is awesome. But as a straight up games console face off with their intended use, I cannot see past the Nintendo DS. It's so good.
Yeah, the revisions that came later as well were far superior to the original that came out. The original looked ugly. It was uncomfortable. It was maybe a little bit too big.
Yeah. Admittedly, it was a little large.
Yeah.
It was a little uncomfortable.
But once they started bringing out the revisions, it improved it no end, and it's really, really difficult to argue against it.
Yeah, I mean, the revisions are really nice, and then I actually really enjoy the 3DS, which I almost see as like a
upgraded
No,
it's
version.
a DS2, isn't it?
It's the DS2. It's kind of like the Wii U, isn't it? Yeah. Of the handhelds.
Just without the colossal failure.
Yeah, because, well, I think the 3DS did reasonably well.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But the Wii U, which you're comparing it to, didn't.
No, the Wii U did terrible.
Terrible. Yeah. But anyway, we'd like to know your thoughts and opinions on what you use your PSP for and what games that we didn't talk about when making this argument.
Oh, there's going to be so many. You're gonna write them down. I'm gonna be like, oh.
Yeah, because especially on the DS, there would be a lot. Yeah, so you can find us at all the usual places. You can find us on Twitter.
You can find us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Just look for Top Hat Chat.
And you can also find us on Twitch, where we're about to head now, at twitch.tv/Top Hat Chat, where we're actually going to be playing probably some more Persona.
Yeah, we did kind of say that we were maybe going to do Monkey Island this week.
Yeah.
We decided against it for several reasons. You'll find them out on the stream, so head over there right now.
Yeah, if you haven't made an account already over on Twitch, it takes about 30 seconds, it's free, and you can get us for 6 hours at a time, most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which you might feel is too much, but it's not, trust me. We're great. Yeah. Is there anything else we need to say before we go?
No, I don't think so. I think that's all good. If you think of any topics that you would like to see discussed on Top Hat Chat with the same vigour that you saw this one, but usually if not a bit more vigorous, then let us know in the comments below and we will consider doing it. But this isn't a democracy, so just think, if yours gets lots of likes and lots of people go, yeah, do this, we might just not do it.
Yeah. In fact, we might not do it just to spite you. If you get more likes than what we get on our thoughts, then yeah, we definitely won't. That's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
Right, anyway, we're heading over to Top Hat Chat on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Top Hat Chat. Come over and find us there. We will see you guys soon. Thanks for being here. See you next time.